Hi everyone, welcome to Paintbox again. We are going to do this image, which is of, I took some photos of some roses I had, and I like this reflective surface as well. It was just a black glass surface, and yeah, so we're going to paint this. So this looks quite difficult, and it is quite difficult, but if we break it down into manageable, manageable kind of sections and areas and layers at a time, then we will be fine, because painting is just a series of layers, as with the other boxes. So this one is going to be, we're going to do a drawing, then we're going to do acrylic undercoat, then we're going to do oils over the top so we can get all of this lovely blending of these colours. So I'm excited about this one. Okay, so what we're going to use is, we're going to use, if you like to, if you want to call it cheating, you can. I don't necessarily think it is. I just think for a drawing like this, you can freehand draw it if you want, as ever. You can grid it if you would prefer, where we fold it like I did on my other two kits. You can fold it and draw each section at a time, onto there. Or we can do something else, which I'm going to show you how to do today, which makes it life a little bit easier, and we're going to use something called carbon paper. So carbon paper has ink on one side. As you can see, you can reuse it. I've used this lots of times. And it's got ink on one side. It's like an old-fashioned kind of paper. Just be careful you don't rub it too much, because you'll end up with it all over your hands. So you put the ink side down. You can use something like trace down as well, which has the same sort of things, but this is probably cheaper. So you put that on, you put your image on the top, and I want it about in the middle like that. If you want to, you can just use a little piece of masking tape, like that, and I'll just to hold it down, just in each kind of corner. And then using my pencil, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and I'm just going to draw in the main shapes. So if I draw those leaves in, the ink will form a drawing underneath, hopefully. So all of the main areas. So let's just see, I'll just lift that up. And hey, there we go. So your drawing comes out underneath. So try not to rest too much on it. And I am going to draw in all of the petal shapes, because it is quite tricky, even where all of the shade is. Okay. I'm not really bothered about any really small bits, but I am trying to draw in where the bigger areas are. Just where you can see a shape. Even if you're not sure what it is, just draw it. Be careful not to move it. So is it cheating? Well, I think sometimes if it's all about the paint and not particularly the drawing, then I think that's fine. A lot of my students use this carbon paper just to quickly get an image on. I mean, some of my students love drawing and would rather draw and spend time on that, which is absolutely fine. And I think, you know what, if something helps you to get on with your art or gives you confidence with your artwork, then do it. Why not? I know in old Renaissance times they used camera obscura, which is like a pinhole camera, so they would project an image onto their canvas. So it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us. Right, so I'm just drawing this on. See a little shape there. So just keep moving around. So I'm not going to do these darks in there because we're going to do that with paint. But just where actual shades change or lines change. Okay, so we're going to use acrylics today for blocking in. So you will have in your pack a little row of acrylic pots, and we're going to mix them. So if you need to check it and see which areas you have or haven't done, oops, just lift it up. Oh, that's going really well. So I've got this leaf though. Now, like I said, this carbon paper is reusable, which is really good to know, because then if I've given you a piece now in this kit, there's absolutely no reason why you can't do your own drawings now, your own images. You just need to have them the right size. But I'm sure you can go to some sort of copier place where they'll copy it for you, if you wanted to change the size of an image, so you could do any image. Okay, you can usually see where the pencil lines are where you've drawn. I'm not sure about that bit. This is the centre of the rose, which is quite detailed. One round here, there, and yep, down there. Okay, this bit, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the general shape of this. I'm not going to put in the whole thing. And what we are going to do is we're going to use blending techniques. So I'll put that main bit in there. Blending techniques to get this to almost fade into the black glass as a reflection. And it's not as hard as you think. You will end up with a really lovely painting. Okay, I'm going to leave it. Right, you just again check with two corners, make sure, yeah, that's not bad. I think I've got everything. Okay, so that's your first section. I am quite happy with that. So you can take the tape off now. Just discard that. So you've now got your image. You can fold up your carbon paper to reuse again. And you're ready to paint. Next section. Okay, so I've got my acrylics ready, just out of these pots. I've got my brushes, my water, a little bit of water. It's really just to rinse your brush. Acrylics are already mixed with water, so you don't need to add a lot. I've got a little bit of tissue just to dab my brush on. And I've got my palette of colours. So what I've had to do is get the colour out one at a time and wash my brush and then get the second colour, etc. So, but they should last for a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with just one thing at a time. So I'm going to start with the leaves, and what I want is I just want a base colour. So to make your colours opaque, we're going to take white out, add a little bit of yellow and a little bit of blue. Okay, and that's quite a nice colour already. So what we're wanting is kind of a medium tone. I'm not adding, this is an underpaint, so I'm not bothered about adding loads and loads of detail and darks and lights at this stage. All I'm going to do is just block in. So that leaf there, I'm just going to block that in like that. And like I said, why do we do acrylic underpaint under oils? It really, it honestly gives much more depth to your painting. You know, and painting oils on white, I tend to find is really quite difficult. You're much better with the colour underneath. Okay, so I'm not even bothered. I might do that as dark though. I might do that as dark. I'm not even bothered as getting the exact shade at this point. This is just for acrylics. Now to get it darker, I'm going to add a little bit more blue, a bit more yellow, just to strengthen that up a bit. Yeah, and that's fine, that'll do. That is dark enough. Okay, we're using oils on this because oils will give this lovely blending effect with these petals. When we start and put the oil layers on, I'll demonstrate how to do that. Okay, this leaf is very dark, so I'll add that. So I never spend that much time on the underpainting. You can do an oil underpaint, of course, which is fine. You just need to take longer for it to dry, a few days, whereas acrylics, you know, it doesn't take long at all. Literally probably a few minutes, which allows you to continue with your paint. These are a lovely yellowy colour, so I'm adding more yellow. Now the good thing about these, the carbon paper, is that I can still see my drawing through it, which is going to help me later on. Just got this little leaf here, so literally as quick as that. Right, I'm going to now mix just a pale pink. I'm not going to do all the blending. I'm going to take white out of there. I'm going to add a little bit of red. There we go. So you kind of want a medium, oh, a bit too much, a medium pink in there. And then I'll just start and put that on. Now, like I said before, you can still see your lines of the carbon paper, because I'm just going to block these in. So if you can see the lines underneath, it's just going to make it easier when you start applying oil. Now this goes right down there. Yep. So we're going to block in. We're going to put a layer of paint over the entire canvas board. I've just got a little bit darker there, but it doesn't matter. It's actually lovely doing a painting at this size, because I sometimes do paintings that are really, really big, which take a long time to do. Doing a painting this size is just nice and manageable. Okay, nearly done that. Yep. So my next stage is I'm going to mix this. You can see there actually, there's a line that goes right across there. So I'm actually just going to get my pencil and draw that bit in. but I've lost my pencil. Okay, I'll just do that with paint. So I'm just going to do a bit of a line like that. It comes across. Oh no, it's not, it's lower than that. Okay, so I'm going to do the top half of the line. I'm going to mix a white, yellow into that green, and I'm actually going to add a little bit of red and a bit of brown. Yeah, so I've added more yellow into that brown now. And I'm just going to start, I'm just going to fill that in. Go over all of the white. Okay. Need more colour now, so I add a little bit of white, yellow, red, a bit of brown. Okay, it's a little bit dark, but it doesn't matter. I do like these dark background paintings, they look stunning in a frame, particularly a gold frame, which I want to demonstrate later. Around all of these. Down to that second line. Bit more colour. White, bit of yellow, bit of red. And the next bit will be the bottom bit. Okay, so for the bottom bit, I am going to do this dark red first. So I'm going to add red. I'm going to add a bit of that brown. Maybe a touch of blue. Yes, that's quite a nice dark colour. And I'm just going to, I think that's a leaf actually. Oh, that's a leaf reflection, so never mind. I'll just block in where the rose's reflection is. Like that. All over that, I can still see my lines through it, which is great. A bit more. Now then, the photocopy ends there, so what I'm going to do is just paint that in. and we're going to be able to fade it off in the reflection when we go over it in oils. So when we do oils, we're going to do it step by step again. Okay, so I've gone a little bit wrong with that one, so what I'm going to add is a little bit of yellow, a bit of blue to make this dark green, and a tiny bit of that black. Yep, that's great. And I'm just going to, this is the reflection of the leaf, that leaf. So I'm just going to paint that in. And then it's mixed in with a bit of brown, but it's okay. The final thing for the underpaint is I'm going to now mix this colour. So I'm going to use a mix of brown, and I'm going to add a mix of blue. I don't automatically go for black, because the brown and blue often make a much thicker velvety colour, and when you look at artist work, I would say a lot of them do use a brown and a blue rather than going for a jet black. Black, as they say, is sometimes too black. So I'm using my colour quite thick. And then after this I need to wash out my palette and get my oils ready. I'm just adding a little bit of water so that you can't see any of the white of the canvas. Go around that shape there. I'll start this side. I will need to mix up more of that colour actually. So to mix up that colour, it was quite easy. It was just brown and the blue. Yep. Going to get a little bit more blue. You should have more than enough paint to finish this, and even probably enough to start another piece. So what's stopping you? You could go out, buy yourself a canvas board, you've got your carping paper, and try something for yourself. We don't always need to work on a canvas board either. I work on stretched canvas quite a lot for my own work. Just these boards are quite a nice size, a good smooth surface, and yeah, they're great. Good morning. So I've got my painting all blocked in. I'm ready to start on oils. What I have done is I've just used the rubber on the end of the pencil to just make sure that I can see where all of the lights and darks are, because when I drew it up with the carbon paper, of course I went over it in pencil. So these are the oil paints. You get a full set of oil paints. I've used this lots of times before and they're good quality. So let's just open these. Now you'll notice when you go into your pack, if you're careful, there are a couple of little, I think there's two, yeah, two. And what they are for is if we open one of the paints, like that. This is a scarlet, which you will need anyway. You just use that as a little, because sometimes you have a thing on the end, but that doesn't, so you just use that. Push that through, and then you can use your colour. So today, all I'm going to get for now, we're just going to use the scarlet and the titanium white. Because we're just going to start on the flowers. We're just going to do this a step at a time. So again, like that. Okay, I've got my oils in. I don't need loads of oils. Because you're getting a full kit, that should give you plenty of oils to use on your next painting. So what I'm going to do is on this flower here, and we can just see. Actually, no, I'll start with this one because it's bigger, it's easier to see. So I've got a little bit of white spirit in my glass. I haven't got a lot, just a bit. Bit of tissue to dab on. And I'm going to take my white and I'm going to take it out. So that looks quite white, but it's just a slight touch of pink. So I'm just going to add a little bit of pink to that. I'm going to paint that area in. I've hardly added any white spirit because I actually want this colour to be nice and thick. So this is just to show you how to blend one flower. You might actually need 2 coats of white over this. I'm looking at it. That's okay. Like that. And that goes all the way down to there. Luckily we can still see the lines underneath. Right, like that. I'm just going around that petal. And yeah, I think that's about it. Now then, we have got 2 more brushes. So we've got a smaller brush. So I'm going to use this brush now. And I just want to mix up this pink. So I'm going to test out this pink a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm just going to put a bit of pink on there. And a bit of pink around here. Like that. Then what you're going to do to blend, you're going to use a dry brush. And you can see where that just, the shapes of the blending, the way that they go, the shapes of the petal. So I'm just going to flick that up and use my dry brush just to drag that up. Okay, so I'm actually going to do this I am going to do this in 2 coats. So I'm going to go back to my pink there, my lightest colour. I'm going to go right up to that line. Right up to there. Yeah, and I know we've got darks in there, but we're going to put those over the white. So it goes actually up to there. So remember painting just shapes, just lots of shapes. Okay. So my smaller brush, get that pink in there. Now there is a dark bit in there, so I'm going to use a little bit more red. Let's have a look. Yep. In there, like that. Yep. And the lighter pink all the way along, and then there's a little shape at the end there. It goes a little bit darker there, so I'll just put that in. So some bits you won't want to blend, but then some bits you will. So this bit, I'm going to get a dry brush again. I'm just going to flick that up. And it gives this kind of, I like the brush marks because it gives kind of a 3D quality to it. Okay, looks like it's going round, I'm quite happy with that. So if I was going to be fussy, I'm just going to put in a little bit darker around here now. Okay, so I'm just going to spend time on this flower. Now then, in there I can see that this is really quite dark. So that shape is in there. That's not quite dark enough. It's better. Yep. And it's actually darker on there too. So darken there. Okay. And I'm going to go for my light pink. This thing. It's just, this is a really nice bit of painting. You're just looking at one area, taking your time in that area. Now I've actually put my paint on a bit thicker this time, and actually I think it's better. So I'm going to go thicker now on there. It's difficult with flowers because you want them to kind of look flimsy like a flower. You don't want to go too thick with your paint, but then that paint's going to stand out a lot more. Okay, so I'm going to put the paint really quite thick on there. And the nice thing about oils is we can go back to it and add more later on. So we've got this pink in here. And then we've got this light again. Okay, so that goes really light up to there. Okay. I'm going to use some pinks down here because I can just see that, so I'll just block that in. Now then, that is quite a dark area. Now I'm going to add something else in a minute to make this dark. So that is that. Okay, so remember to blend in, dry brush, no white spray at all, because all you're doing is you're just kind of tickling the surface of the paint to get this effect of blending. Okay. So just take your time, look at each section and think, right, okay, what shade do I need to put in there? Does it need to be darker? Does it need to be lighter? So I'm just going to blend this bit now and show you how to do it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of pink around there and then use my dry brush, and I'm just going to, in the direction of the petal, like that. And then there's some lighter areas, so I'm just going to add those, just using that white. Yep, there's some just there, so I'll put that on quite thick. And the same there. Okay. I'm putting all of the light bits in. But just for a few areas. I'm not doing all of them because I want to still continue blending. Okay, now a light bit there. I'm going to need some more white soon. I'm going to go right up to there. What I always do as well is paint the background midway through so it looks like the flowers are sitting on top of the background. Okay, so I'm going to paint these pink bits in. What I've actually got as well is I've just got a little bit of ultramarine blue, because what it can do is it can just make some of these really dark areas. And so actually I'll add a little bit of that and see what it's like, because it will make yeah, it'll make a darker pink, which is what I'm after. Such a therapeutic thing, painting. If you can hear that in the background, that's my husband on his work phone call, which would absolutely stress me out. I just keep working around the painting. Okay, I've got some quite light areas in here that I've missed. Put those in. There is a light under here actually. Yep. It's also light in there. So we can start and see this lovely rose come to life. We get a bit more white. Like that. And it actually goes white right up to there. Okay, so I'm needing a little bit of pink going on there now. So I'm going to get this light pink. I'm just going to start and put a little bit of this around the edge. Like that. I'm going to get my dry brush again. And I'm just going to blend it, going up that way for the petals. And then I'm going to do the same under here. So it's just really, really subtle. Dry brush again. And sometimes with your dry brush, dab it on the paper towel, but then you need to keep doing that. I love how it leaves little lines, just like on a petal actually. It looks quite realistic. So pink in here, quite a light pink. A little bit of pink in there. I am going to go over some parts this way. Not all of it, but I am going to go over some parts. So, So I'm going to do all of this in light. To get to the centre of the rose now. Tell you what as well, with painting, I never feel bored. I never ever bored. Even when I go on holiday, I take my paints. Just because I find it so relaxing. And I try and paint every day. Because if I don't, I feel as though, I don't know, it's strange. I feel as though I'm not quite balanced, if that sounds like a thing. My favourite quote, I have it up in my classroom, is Van Gogh, who said, "The only time I feel alive is when I'm painting." I love that. Right, so I'm going to get my dry brush, blend that across. Just get a subtle line in there. And like I say, whenever you're painting, try and go with the shape of what you're painting. Few subtle pinks in there. Okay. So I've got a really dark area under here. I'm actually going to add a little bit of that ultramarine blue. And go right under here. Don't add black. Do not add black for this, because black and flowers, really, it's too harsh, far too harsh. So blue is a much better shade to add. You know, all of this is quite dark. I'm using such a small brush because it changes so often the shape that you're having to. So we've got a couple more darks in there. And then, like I said, just go with the shapes. It's really easy. This is not difficult at all. I think beginners can do this quite easily. I have taught beginners how to do this, and they have managed. So, that's quite white there. Yep, that's quite white. And we've got pink. It's going in here. And a slight pink line there. I think it's starting to come on. It's starting to look okay. Pink in there. Yeah. We've got a really light part here. I shall put that in. And just there underneath. Yeah, this is actually really light. So you can see how carbon paper has really helped us, because it's actually kept our line showing. And we've got an accurate drawing ready to just paint up. There's so many folds in this rose. Oh, I've gone on to the dark bit now. This is the light bit, but it doesn't matter, we can alter that. Yeah, because there's also a shadow. Oops, that's a bit thick. So we're going to paint some really, really realistic roses. Okay. So, oh yeah, this goes light in here. Oh, I missed a bit. That comes round. So I can go over that again with that light there on. This kind of goes over there. It's quite subtle. this comes up here. I've got a little bit of shadow underneath. Been looking forward to painting this one for ages. I knew it. I think it's going to be quite bold when it's done. I'm looking forward to the reflections as well. But of course I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Okay, it's starting to come out now. I'm very pleased with that. I know there's still lights and darks to do, but I'm happy with that so far. So I'm going to add in some pinks. There. And then, it's fine to work all over the paint, but at some point you need to just look at the individual areas. So we have got this darker bit under here, and I've missed this light bit, so I'll put that in. Dry brush, and just where you've got harsh lines, maybe get rid of them. Here, it's very subtle. Now when you're doing an area that goes to kind of 3 different shades or 4 different shades, just do kind of one bit like that. Now I'm still following the shape of that pattern. Okay, right, I'm going to have a break and then I'm going to come back to this. Yeah, I'm really enjoying doing this, it's lovely. Yeah, and then I'm going to come back to it. Right, I'm going to continue with this flower. I'm going to start blocking this one as well now, actually. Now to get those lights really light at the end, what we're going to do is, once it's all kind of dry or even just tacky to the touch, because of course oil paints take a while to dry, they take a few days. Acrylics dry straight away, but oils, the nice thing is about oils is that I can go back even tomorrow, and if I'm, you know, when you get up and have a look at your paint and think, oh, I'm not quite happy with that area, I could actually change it a little bit, I can move it about. So that for me is the big draw to oils. Right, that's in there. I'm just adding these light areas. Just looking at where they are, I'm getting a bit confused now. So follow where the shapes are. Oh, right, that comes right up and round. Remember, you're just looking at shapes. I've got all noises going on this morning. I've got my husband on his work phone. I've got a helicopter outside, and I've got my dog wanting to be in there. It's all fun. Same thing with painting. You should just ignore it all. Just go in and paint. I'm going to need a little bit more white. Yeah. Oh, this bit's really light, so I'm going to use a bit more white in there. Yeah. All that shape in there is really quite light. So you can do a bit at a time with painting flowers, or you can do paint all the light areas in, paint all the dark areas in. It really is entirely up to you. I do a bit of both, as you can see. Yes, I'm going to go around here. Oops. Now, be careful of this with oils, because you lean on it, they will smudge. And I do that all the time. Just sharpening up that white. Right. Oh, this is quite light in here now. Okay, so I'm going to start and put some lighter areas in. I'm just going to mix up this pink. And I'll start on this one. So even though you've got it pink with acrylic underneath, it doesn't matter. You still need to paint oils over the top. You're actually going to paint all over the acrylic. Now, at this point, I just do a little bit at a time. I'm just going to sharpen up that white there at the end. Yeah, because I want a nice crisp edge on there. Okay, I'm going to use my brush. I'm just going to blend that a little bit in the direction of the petal. And the same here. Just very, very subtle changes. Okay, so then I've got really quite a dark shade in there. And a dark shade in there. I'm going to put a dark shade in that pink there. Wait, now where does that go? It actually goes underneath here. And it makes a pink there. Now I can still add darks and lights to my colours when it's, like I say, when it's tacky. You don't have to do it all exactly now. Pink area in there. And I've got this light area going on in here. Yep, and it's still quite light in there, so I'm just going to paint it going into a little bit of pink. Yeah, and then that's really quite dark in there, that shadow, so I'm just going to add a little bit of blue just to get it as dark as I want. Yep, just in there. A slight touch in there where that overshadows. Oops, I'm leaning on my pen again. And then I've got this, which is really quite dark. Dark area there. And yeah, it's quite, I've painted it light, but it's actually quite a dark area in there. Okay, and that goes right over to there. So you can see these flowers starting to come to light a little bit. Right, so yeah, dark in there, and that goes all the way around there. And then we've got a pink dark in there, but it's not quite that colour. Okay. Dark pink in that bit. Oh, and this is quite dark in here. I think that's looking okay actually. Then you need to keep looking at each other and thinking, right, how can I improve that bit? Especially if you want a really realistic painting. I know the students I teach, they want to know how to paint something well. And I think for beginners paintings, usually they do want to paint it so it looks like the subject that they're painting. So this is kind of a how-to. Okay, this is kind of... Right, so I'm going to leave that one for now. Even though, sorry, I've just spotted this is slightly lighter, so I'm going to paint that in. So to get it slightly lighter, I'm thickening my paint. Like that. And then I'm still going to put some whites over there later on. So, I want some darks in here. I'm back to my other flower now. Oh, no, this is dark. I've gone too light on that bit, I think. And just in here is really quite dark. Yep, so we need to paint some lights in this, just in this little pattern here. Okay, so we get some real darks. Yeah, in there. And here. Might need to be a little bit lighter actually, I'm very dark now. And this is quite a light pink in here, so I'll put that in. And we're going to dry brush. We're going to use that blending again on that. So the white, I can see some more white on here, which I kind of forgot about. Nice smooth brush strokes. And again on... Oh yeah, this comes out, but it goes to a pink, so I need a pink there. Yeah, that's pink underneath. So we need that pink in there. And that really is quite a dark shade. I'm going to go really dark in there again. And yeah, I do need to go dark in there. Really dark under here. So it's lovely painting still life because you can just paint like just areas at once. You don't have to paint like the whole thing. You just concentrate on it. Just think, well, today I'll just do the flowers. Or today I will just do the leaves. And that's a lovely thing about painting. You can go back to it, especially with oils. Oils will still be wet the next day. So you really still can go back to it. I'm not bothered about all these marks. I'm going to go over them anyway. Right, I'm going to get my dry brush, and just in some of the areas I still need to just blend slightly like this. So all I'm doing is wiping off all the excess paint from my brush. Like that, and like that. A little bit of shadow on there. I'll find that this pink is not the exact pink of this these roses. However, I'm just going to put some darks in there. And a crimson might actually be better. However, sometimes when you're mixing colours, it's really hard to get the exact right colour. So for this kit, it's a slightly warmer pink colour. But I think that's okay, as long as you get all the darks and lights right. So there we go. And you can see how it forms, you can see how it's coming together now. Now we have got a really light bit on there, so I'm just bringing those out. I'm just going to put a bit more white on there. But I am going to add some more lights right at the end when it's almost dry. Yeah, there I've kind of missed that bit out, so I need to put that in. Yeah, I've got a few folds going on here. And just where I've smudged it. Typical of me. Lighten that bit up. Right, so I mean, I know that I need to darken up some of these shades, so we'll continue exaggerating that as I go along, but that's a good first layer for the flowers. I'm happy with that. Okay, I'm going to stop for now. Right, I've added to my palette, I've added some, this one, Viridian Green. I might not use a lot of green actually, I tend to work with the blue and yellow, so ultramarine blue, the lemon yellow, yellow ochre, This one, some burnt umber, which is the darker brown, and some white. So I'm now going to start, I'm actually going to start with the leaves. Oops, careful not to lean on your paint like I've just done again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start with this leaf and work my way over. So this leaf, I'm going to add a little bit of white, just to make it opaque, and a little bit of lemon yellow. Yep. And I'm just going to look at where that you see that colour there is just a lovely lemon yellow there. So I'm just going to do one leaf at a time. I'm going to try and do them all at once. And this now goes into a nice green. Now I'm going to see what the green is like without using the green, if that makes sense, first. Of course, yellow ochre can make a difference as well. So I'm just going to see what that's like. That's not bad for quite a nice brighter green. So we go all over the leaf. And I'm going to add more blue to make it quite dark. I'm going to add a little bit of your ochre as well, just to see what that looks like. Yeah, that's not bad. A little bit more yellow. So you just kind of keep adding, taking away, keep adding. So I've got a bit of green in there, and then I've got this green going on in here. And then this green there, and just on the edge there, and then I'm going to go really dark. So to go really dark, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my brown, and I'm going to mix my blue. Got a bit of yellow in there, didn't mean to do that. And that's probably going to be one of the darker shades it will have. So again, I'm not necessarily going for black. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm just going to put that in. Right, so remember how to blend. I'm just going to use my dry brush. And like I say, it's just tickling the surface direction that you want. You can do it back the other way if it hasn't quite blended as well. Same there. And I can put detail on the top later on. Yeah, that's fine for now. I can get that bit a bit brighter as well. Maybe even a bit of yellow and a bit of red. So I'm going to go on to the next bit now, which is really quite a bright green in here. So I'm going to add that there. And it's amazing how much the colours come out once you apply the background shade. Oops. Oh, now I've added a little touch of that green. Actually, I quite like it. It's quite bright. These are kind of the medium greens, which I do think needs to be a little bit darker. Yeah, and go around that petal. Now then, like I say, you need your darks to be quite dark, so around that petal there, it is quite dark. Yep, and all around there, so I'll just put that in. It's kind of like a line there. I love putting real darks against real lights as well, because it really makes it stand out. So then we've got green. And that leaf there has got a really light edge, which I'm probably going to do later on. Because I feel as though it'll just sink in if I do it now. Nope, that's too light. Go back into here. And I still need that dark in there as well. Okay, I'm just going to leave that then, have a look at it. Okay, so I'm going to use my dry brush again just to flick those darks up. So we haven't got any harsh lines. I think I can definitely revisit this leaf. It's definitely needs a bit more detail in there. Okay, we'll continue with that. So we've got a dark in here. And then we've got a lovely lemon yellow. So remember, you can do this to check. That is a really white yellow. So I'm going to introduce some yellows, some like bright yellows now. Yep, just down near the bottom. Yep. And then there's a light bit there. I'm not sure what that is yet, but I'm just going to put it in. Okay, add a brighter green now. A little bit that green, which is very, very green. I'm not too keen on that green, to be honest, but it's nice just in small doses if you want to add it. I hardly ever use green from a tube. I normally use blue and yellow because you're going to get a much more realistic colour. Now then, this one is really dark, so I'm going to add a brown. Oh, that's quite a lot of brown. I'm going to take blue out. More blue. Oh, that was quite a lot of blue. Like that. And I'm just going to put that in there. Now then, this leaf, it does go really dark there. And we may be able to add a little bit of that viridian green, which is this nice dark one. But it is very, yeah, that's a better colour, so it just mixes a dark green. Okay, so I'm hardly using any white spirit with this at all. I'm going to keep on adding this dark. Yep. So it goes really dark again up here. Remember, I can blend that as well if I want it more blended. Like that. And then I think this other one is actually a leaf behind it, so I'm going to use my dry brush and just blend yeah, these over a little bit. Right. And I've got this medium kind of green, so I'm going to put this yellow in there. Yeah, that's not a bad colour. I might have to put some lights in there as well. Oh, did not want to do that. So, yeah, it's quite dark behind this leaf. So I'm going to go for my really quite dark green. Now this vein, I'm going to find that really hard doing. I might be better off doing that later on, just after a couple of days when it's a bit tacky, to be honest. This goes quite dark again towards the edge, so I'll put that in. I think that's the thing with oil painting, you have to be a little bit patient, not rush it, because sometimes you have to wait for areas to dry, or almost dry, and then you can continue working on them. And this is where, you know, a lot of the students will say, but my paint's all gone muddy again. And yeah, because you need to wait for it to dry. A bit down here is a bit confusing. I'm not sure if that's background, but I'll try and make sure that this comes down as an actual leaf. And then I'll paint the background in later. So this leaf, we've got, again, the white and the yellow. Bit more yellow there. So as soon as you start and paint it in, and then start and take shape. Yeah, a bit more in there. It's quite a nice colour. Okay. So a bit more olivey green in there, I think. We've got a shadow coming over there. And a dark in there. And it's actually, I don't know what this is, but it's quite a dark there. So I'll just put that in. Just on a thin brush. Yeah. And then I've got this quite a dark leaf. Oh, before I go on to that, actually, I'll do this lighter one, because it's just sitting there. That's quite nice actually, that golden colour. A little bit of yellow ochre mixed in, so I'm going to do this bit of stem. I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how this turns out with the background done. Because once you put these darks around them, the whole painting looks different again. Now then, this is a reflection, this leaf, so I'm going to leave that. There is, however, a stem here, which is getting muddy. Like I say, I can't keep going on that because it is just going to get muddy. So I'm just going to mix the colour for this really dark leaf. And it does actually go really dark, so what I'm going to do is just do a light for the edges there. And it kind of curls up. That's quite nice. And then I'm just going to get this really dark, mix a bit of green in there. And you can see in there it goes really, really black. Not black, but really dark. Okay, so around this bit here. bit more yellowy green there. Okay, so quite happy with that. I think there are a few more areas I can work on, but I will need to come back to them. Okay. I hadn't quite finished this bit, I've just noticed, so that's the thing with painting, you can't leave it alone. You end up going back and back and back to it because it's just so addictive. I remember one Christmas I just had to shut because I really just wanted to get on with painting. I had so many jobs to do, I had to just shut and lock the door of my studio because I knew for a fact that I wouldn't clean the house, I would end up not getting all the presents that I needed, and I thought actually this is really bad. This is all I'm doing, but it could be worse, I suppose. Okay. Right. So let's stop it at that stage and then get ready for my background. Right, so I'm going to start on the background now. I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. I've wiped out my palette a little bit so I can mix in there. Tiny bit of white just to make it opaque. Now it's quite yellow ochre this bit, so I'm going to do this bit first and then work my way out. So I'm going to go around the leaves. So I'm going to do brown, yellow ochre, little bit of red. See what that's like. Yeah, it's not too bad. Now it needs toning down. So a little bit of blue. Just going to add a tiny bit of white spirit. Yeah, I'm going to see what this looks like. So I'm going to go around these leaves. Now, later on, I am going to just put in a couple of more details in this later on, with crisping up my edges of my leaves, etc. So it looks like they are on top of the background. But for now I'm just blocking in where the background is, so the colours. Now I've got a bit mixed up with this, and I think this goes further down into there actually. Yeah, you might want to use your smaller brush just for smaller areas or fiddly bits. But I'm actually not that bothered at the minute because I am going to, like I say, do my edges and my leaves later on. So this is quite a nice colour. So ochre, brown, that's quite a lot of brown, bit of red, and we're just making this lovely rich colour there. Blue will just tone it down for us. Okay. Blue is great for things like even on flesh colours when I do portraits. Blue just calms all of your colours down and actually makes it a lot more realistic. So I do use blue, shades of blue in my paintings quite a lot. So I'm going to go right up around here. Yeah, and then oops, I've just chopped the end of that leaf off, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to come back to that. There's so many paintings that I look at and think, you know, you could have done a lot more on that. You could have actually gone into that a lot more. There's some paintings that you don't need to. Some paintings you look at, you just get it right straight away and think, brilliant. When people say, you need to know when to stop, that is very, very true. So I'm going to start and get darker now. I'm going to add a little bit of this colour, and I'm going to add a little bit more blue. And I'm just going to see a little bit more blue actually, and I'm just going to see what that looks like. It's not too bad. So I'll add that there, and then I'm actually using my big flat brush at the minute, so I'm going to have to use my round brush to blend. So I'll add a little bit more blue because I think it is darker there. That's a better colour. This oil is going lovely and thick on top of these colours. So using my round brush now, I'm just going to dry that off completely, and I'm just going to blend that, just touching the surface really lightly, just where the shades change. Yeah. Okay. Then I can continue on with that colour, getting darker and darker as it gets towards that corner. Yeah, so I'm going to add more brown, more blue. Right up to that corner. Just kind of keep working it in. More blue, I think. Nice and smooth. Thick colour, no white spirit at this stage. So we have got this line here which I'm going to keep to. More brown, more blue. If you start and think that your painting's getting more transparent, a tiny bit of white will just improve that. I'll just go right up behind that petal, although we are going to add that later on as well. Right, I'm going to have my dry brush. And I'm just, see, if I start and use that quite thick on there, or press hard, it's actually going to take my paint off. Can you see that? Which is what I don't want. I just want the lightest touch. Really, really light. So, I'll wash that and dry it because it's actually not working that well at the moment. It's getting there. See, any bit of white spirit will lift the paint off. So I'm just going to just go over that bit again with the dark. And just keep moving the paint around till you're happy with it, really. So a dry brush will just move it, won't add anything. Okay. I'm going to do this side now and go back to my flat brush. I am going to add a little bit of white in there, and I'm going to add brown, plenty of blue. Yeah. And I'm going to go right from this corner this time. Try and put it on nice and thick and smooth. And really quite even. really is quite dark all around there. So your brown and your blue will be fine for that. Right, so good thing about oil paints and doing this side is you'll have loads of paints left. Sometimes what I'm doing is I'm pressing on quite hard to get the colour in there and cover all the little holes, and then I'm just not pressing as hard as I get to another shade. Okay, so I'm going to blend that, aren't I? So blue, brown. I shall carry on down here. And then I'll get my dry brush. So I'm just going around this. I mean, really, you could just paint over this and then paint it on later on. But I do still want to know where it is, so I'll just... I'll just do it like that, that's fine. Right, so, dry brush. Nice dry brush, make sure it is really dry. I'm just going to go kind of like that. I'm just going to be really, really subtle with this. I'm going to put the light back into the dark. So I'm blending over this way. So if you're not happy with any area, just keep on with it. Might not be exactly as the photo, but just want an effect of the photo. We don't need the photo, we just want an effect like the photo. Nobody's going to say, when they see it on you, nobody's going to say, oh, can I see the original photo? To check your, your painting style. They'll all be amazed at your painting anyway. Now that's just lifting off a bit there, notice. I'm not too happy about, but I'm going to come back to that at a later stage. It's just lifting off a little bit there. So I'm now, but it looks quite old-fashioned, so I quite like that. So I'm now going to leave that while I go on to the big section at the bottom, and I may have to add a little bit of black. Right, I'm going to start and work on this background, the bottom bit. So I've added blue and brown again. I'm just going to work in all of these areas. Now this bit here is what I was thinking was another leaf, but actually it is the reflection of the leaf. So I'm going to paint that in dark. I'm going to show you how to do reflections. Yeah, that actually goes right up into there. Now then. Okay, I have gone a little bit too dark around here, I think, because you can't see where that leaf is, but I will lighten that up later on. Just use my small brush. Now then, it is quite light in there, so I'm going to add some yellow ochre and a bit of red for this bit. Oh, not too much red, we'll see what that colour looks like. And there is like a line actually. Yeah, so all I've done is just lighten that bit up. Just by painting over it. So I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter colour around this leaf. And let's see if I can get that to look like a reflection. So I'm going to lighten that up around, oops. I'm going to paint around that bit of the leaf as well. Yep, so I'll use my big dry brush again. Just see if I can blend some of these bits in. Well, this is nice thick colour, so it should blend really quite easily. Yeah, I think the thinner the colour is, the harder it is to blend. Yeah, that's much better, much better. Yeah, I think you can see that going on much smoother there. So, this dark bit for the leaf, I'm actually going to add a little bit of black. And I'm going to go back into there. Now, I'm not worried about this red bit yet, this is all reflection, you see. That's better. And then I'm just going to put in a little bit of a green tinge in there. Have a look, see if I can mix that up. That's not bad. Yeah, just around the edge of here. And that's just where the reflection is. Yeah. Okay. So I would quite like it to come forward now a little bit as well. I've just noticed this bit is quite a harsh line, so I'm just going to just blend that out a little bit. Because anything in the distance shouldn't have that harsher line. a little bit faded out. So underneath here then, I have got my dark, and it goes really dark, and underneath that rose. So I'm going to start and add that now. So I've got my brown, my blue, and I am going to add a little bit of black, because I do think it gets really quite dark straight away. So don't just go all black, mix your colours in there. I'm going to paint the reflection of that leaf underneath. Right. Now I'm pretty certain that is part of a reflection, so I'm going to have to come back to that. And I will have to put the reflection of the stem in as well. The thing is, you can do layer and layer and layer of oils. And that is quite often what I do. I'll leave it to dry for a few days, and I'll look at it again and think, it could do with a bit more work on that area. So what I will do in this tutorial is I will show you how to go back and just add a little bit more detail if you're wanting to. Right, that's nice thick colour, so I'm going to blue, brown, bit black, keep on going. I'm going to go right up to that petal, and actually it does go right up under there. Yeah, I'm ignoring the reflection for now. Okay, I'm going to paint around this. I just know that this is going to look stunning in a gold frame. Oh, I love it when the colour just goes on really nice and thick. Brown, blue, spot of black. Do you know, as well as I did the apples painting with a few people in a workshop recently, and even though we're all doing the same painting, it's so interesting how different everybody's paintings were at the end of it. It's a really good experiment to see. And people look at things differently as well, I think. Right. I need to go around here. Yeah, we're going to move more blue, brown and black, so I need more burnt umber. Put it in there. Now even if I come back to this a few days later, the oils might still be okay to use. painting will hopefully be tacky dry. Ready to put detailing on. Oh, no, I should have used my dry brush with that. Okay. Make sure we get into all the little areas. What could be better than giving yourself a day to paint? Yeah, I found you don't think about anything else, you just switch off and enjoy your painting. Somebody once said to me, well, it's cheaper than therapy, which I laughed at, but I thought, yeah, it probably is actually. Probably a lot cheaper than therapy. And you have something at the end of it. So, dry brush, I'm just going to blend that around. Just keep smoothing. That paint's quite nice and thick, so. Now you can actually get things that are called a fan brush. I don't think I've got one here with me, but they go like that. And they're also quite good for this sort of blending. You can get them from most art shops. Right, I think I'm ready to put on these red shades. Yeah, that does need dragging down a little bit further. Just looking at it again. Yeah, and then there we go. That's fair. Okay, so the red shades, what I'm going to use red. I might use a little bit of white just to strengthen it up. And I might use a little bit of yellow because it's quite orangey. Let's see what that looks like. So, now then, there are lights and darks in this reflection, I've noticed. So there's a light part up here. There. So you're almost painting it like the other way around. So that goes on there like that. There. Yeah, like reflections like the other way around, aren't they? So like that. I'm actually going to go onto my smaller brush now. I'm going to add a lot more red into there. My darker bits, so I've got some really quite darker bits there. In there. And there. But sometimes you can get really, you know, I forgot what I want to say, really bold edges or really clear, sharp reflections, but sometimes I prefer the ones where it's a little bit faded like this one. So I'm just trying to get an effect of what I think it looks like. So I've got some of this kind of pinky colour. I'm going to go back to white there. And this kind of comes through the whole line. Yeah, that's it. Oops, I've just splashed my painting. Doesn't matter. Again, a little bit more yellowy, so it's a little bit of a warmer colour. I'm just trying to put some of these lines in as they are. And this bright red. So that all of it is coloured. Right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my flat dry brush. I'm just going to wash it and dry it off again completely. I'm just going to block these bits. Oh dear. I might have to go over those. Just paint them out. That's fine. That's where I spilt my white spirit on it. So, like that, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the reflection just a little bit hazy. So you can just do kind of like brush strokes, like just blending in like that. And sometimes just doing it in one direction, like that. We'll just give the effect of a nice reflection. So I'm going to leave that like that, and then I've got my last bit to do. So let's have a look at this. Need some tissue. Let's have a look at this flower at the bottom. Okay, so we've got some red. Take some white out of there, mix some red into it. I think it's quite a warm colour, so I'll add some yellow. So where I think the strong reds are, just put that on. I'm just putting where these shapes are for now. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to blend with my dry brush. Like so. I'm going to have to paint some darks in there. Okay, I'll wash that. I'll just use my little brush now because I like to paint these darker bits in, so that one, just go around that flower like that. Oops, went wrong there. So this bit does go into there. Yep, and here now then, what I need now is just some brown, like some really dark browny red, but it's not really dark. So I'll go into there. keep looking at where the shapes are. It goes in there. Right, there's a few darks in there as well, but it's not quite as dark as that other area, so I'll paint that in. And when the painting is, like I say, when it's getting dry, I'm actually going to come back to it and add some more depth to it, just in detail. So, on this bit then, like I say, I'm just going to drag it across like that. I've picked up too much paint now. So what I'm doing is I'm still looking at that. I'm going to actually wash it now and dry it again because I feel as though it's getting too mucky. I'm going to try and fade the light into the dark, which is quite tricky. So it's kind of got a little bit of a, it's all got a bit of a softer edge. Very subtle movements. I'm really, you can tell I'm concentrating, so I'm not talking much. That's the effect of a reflection of a shadow. And really, you can keep going with that until you feel you've done enough. Right, I'm going to see what... I feel as though I will need to put some more detail in this area later on. Just needs sharpening up a bit, as does this middle of the flower, so I'm just going to... What we want is nice soft edges on this one. Now you can only do this when your colours are wet. You can't do this if they're dry. Which is why blending with acrylics is really difficult. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for now. Quite happy with that. I'm going to have a look at it. I actually think that I still need to fade some of these, so I'm just using my dry brush and I'm really lightly touching that surface. I'm hardly, it's what I call just tickling the surface. I'm hardly touching it at all, just to give that effect of a reflection. Okay, I think that's done enough now for me to leave to dry as a painting, and I'm going to leave it for a few days, come back to it once it's tacky and I can just sharpen up some of the details. Okay, bye for now. So I've left my painting for a few days now, and it's kind of like, there you go, it's like a bit tacky. Some of it would come off if I really rubbed hard on it. But I'm just going to give it a go now. I'm just going to finish off some bits that I wasn't happy with. I'm not particularly happy with this colour on here, and I think it does need another layer. So I'm going to use my paint quite thick. I'm quite happy with this area, the reflections, but I think this needs a bit of work, maybe just darkening up a bit. Looking at it again with fresh eyes, it's always good to go away from things. I think the leaves need sharpening once I've done the background, and I think just some of these light areas on the flowers could just do with lifting a little bit, and maybe some darkers being darker. Okay, so I'm going to mix, and do you know these paints, I've left them a couple of days. Yeah, look at that, brilliant. They've come back and they're still fine to use. So I've mixed a little bit of ochre, brown and blue for this background colour, and I'm just going to see what this looks like. So I've put on, let's have a look. Yeah, that's going to look better with a second coat on it. So I'm just going to paint that in. Yeah, it's a lot richer colour, that. I just felt as though that area there was a little bit too yellow ochre-y. I mean, it does need to be warm there, but possibly not as warm as what I've got it. And actually putting an oil layer on top of oil, you can see it just gives a really kind of smooth. What have I done there? I've put on tutor. I've gone for the wrong, that's what happens when you go for the wrong colour. I'll lighten that up a bit. So I'll put a little bit more ochre in there, take a bit more blue. Okay. That's better, that's not as dark. I'm just going to go around that leaf, but I am going to sharpen up the leaf as well, actually. It's always interesting coming back to a painting when you've left it for a few days, and you look at it again and think, that's where I need to work on that now. Now with this, I'm really carefully go around here, and I'm just going to lift that dark off. If you can hear that, it's really windy today. Really windy outside. So I've got that in there. I think I need a little bit of red actually, just to warm that. Yeah, that's a nice colour. Okay. Yeah, I prefer that. It's not as bright as the ochre, so I'm going to add just a little bit of ochre in there. But that is about it. I'm not going to go much lighter than that, really. Yeah. I'm just mixing it in as I go with nice thick paint. Actually, I'm not using any white spirit here because of course if you use white spirit it'll just lift it off. So this bit I do want a little bit lighter, but not as light as what I had it. Yeah, that's better. Right, so ochre, blue, some brown, let's mix that in so it gets a bit warmer. And this is really the quite dark colour up here. So I'll keep going with that. I'll add more brown in there actually because I can see it's browner. Yeah. So if you're going to blend again, you can't just do a little bit of it. You're going to have to do kind of the whole area. But it's easy enough to blend. It's just keep going like that. You can use your dry brush if you want, but to be honest, I've put the paints on that thick that doesn't even need that. Oh, didn't mix that very well. I think at this stage in a painting as well, you need to look back at each area and think, right, how can I improve that? What can I do there? So I'm going to come into this area now, a bit more ochre in there, a little bit of red, a little bit of red in there. Yeah, and that colour's fine. So I'm going to work on the leaves next. And I like that about these particular oil paints is that actually you can go back after a few days and absolutely fine to use. I have gone to other oil paints sometimes and they're not so easy to move around. The only thing is obviously it takes longer for your canvas to dry. But it doesn't matter if you're not in a rush. You can always be getting on with another painting while you're waiting for that one. That's what I tend to do. I tend to have 2 or 3 on the go at once, all at different stages. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that as an effect now. So, I'm going to have a look at my leaves. So, I've got my yellow, just there. Let's see my blue. Oh yeah, my blue's okay. The blue there, and I'm just looking at this leaf here, so I'm just going to do one at a time. Yeah, that's darker in there. Yeah, just be careful that it doesn't mix too much with the background. Yeah, and I'm just going to leave that little light area there like it does. And it kind of comes over. Yeah, and then this comes down, and it gets quite dark actually, so I might add a little bit of that brown in there. Just, no, it's very dark, maybe too dark. I'll just put that in there. Yeah, in there, just behind that petal. And then we've got quite a dark in that area. Okay, yeah, that's fine. If I wanted to blend that into a lighter green, what I'm going to have to do is there. And I'm going to have to put a wet colour next to it. You know, there's no point in rushing paintings. I spend a long time on paintings, and I always think, you know what, it's worth it. So I've got my dry brush. I'm just going to blend that across a little bit. There you go, that's nice. Across there. Okay. Yeah, and what I can do is use my small brush again, mix up a bit of yellow and a bit of white. Getting even windier outside. And just around that leaf there, I'm just going to pick up. And my brush has got loaded with quite thick paint now. And it's just to really do those edges. I mean, again, it depends how long you want to spend on something, because you could come back to that and even, you know, I might be tempted to do that, is just put some more details over the top there. So I've just got this little vein in that leaf there. And the suggestion of veins in here. Okay, so this leaf now, I think that's a little bit too emeraldy green. Where's my other brush? Yeah, my round brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tone that down a little bit. Now I am going to add a little bit of this emeraldy green, because it's quite nice. And a bit of my blue. But then I'm going to add some dark. So, yeah. What we want is the shadow to look like part of the leaf, not as a different part of it, or not even part of it, as a different thing. It's not supposed to be a different thing. So I'm just going to add a little bit of light area there. Cheers. So we've got these little bit of veins on this leaf. So I can put that in with quite a dark line. Okay, and that will make this leaf stand out, because I'm just going to put a bit of shadow behind it. The more you look, the more you see that you need to do, but I don't want to do too much. So a little bit of detail in there. Okay, so this leaf over the top is quite light. So I'm going to use this, and it's quite yellowy, so I need to use my little brush. Get some more yellow on there. That's better. Right. Let's just sharpen that up. I've got a little area here, which is really nice. Just going to put that in. Now that's a nice colour. I've got this stem going across there, so I've got to put that in. And this one, a little bit of white mixed in the yellow. Just being careful that it doesn't mix in the background, it kind of stands off from the background, if you like. So, very last finishing touches. My paints are still wet, luckily. I'm happy with these reflections. I'm not going to do that much more on them, other than maybe sharpen them up a bit. I'm going to do a little bit around here because it looks a bit scruffy. So I'm going to mix up my brown and blue. And I'm just going to add a little bit of black, but I really mainly want it to be brown and blue. Yeah, so I'm just going to thicken this. Just a tiny bit of black in there, not a lot. I've bought some nice gloss varnish for this one, so when it's dry in a few days, I'm going to see what it's like. I do think people enjoy doing this painting. Yeah, I'm happy with this bit round here. I'm not going to go over that. A bit dark in there. I'm just going to thicken up that dark area there because that's the reflection. Okay, I'm going to thicken up this green actually. So I've got my yellow. Oh, that's better. Now then, this stalk still doesn't look quite right, so I'm going to add white and yellow and maybe a little bit of red. Just to highlight that really. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to make sure that there is a bit of a shadow there, even if it's just really subtle. There is a little bit of green shadow in here, so if I can just get a little bit of that in. Now just fade that in. What I'll do now is I'll just check that my petals are standing out, they're nice and sharp. Got some white detail onto there. Sometimes these things make quite a big difference. I think there's a bit of yellow there, didn't there? Right, I'm going to add a little bit more crimson because some of my dark aren't quite dark enough. So let's have a look. So in here, for example, I could get a little bit darker. Sharpen that up. In here. Yeah, that needs sharpening up as well from there. Right, so I'm just about there, I think. Oh no, that bit's light, so I'll add a bit of white to that. Just sharpen up a couple of reds on here if I'm going to be extra fussy. Right. Yeah, I don't think there's much else. Maybe just this green here needs to be a little bit stronger. I think actually I'm going to leave it there. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, hope you enjoyed that painting. Yeah, looking forward to the next one. Let's see what it looks like in a frame. That was always a... Oh, I really like that in that frame. That looks great. Okay. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that tutoring session. And you can buy these frames actually from Amazon. They're nice old, if you type in Baroque wood frame, you can get some really nice styles. It just makes them look a little bit authentic. The other thing you can do, which somebody told me about, is you can get a normal frame and spray it gold. And then they got a kind of boot polish and polished it and then rubbed out the polish, and it kind of gave this really nice distressed look. So that might be an idea as well. Okay, right, I hope you've enjoyed that. On to the next one.